Well, good evening, gang, and welcome to It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. And to my right and to your left, of course, is the lovely Julia Perciasepe. Hello, Julia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And we are coming to you live from our beautiful studios here at BNN-TV. And you're more than welcome to join us if you'd like. We're at 617-708-3290. Great staff of BNN are in the other room with Dave at the helm, answering the phones, and love to have you join us if you'd like. We also, if you want to tweet us, tweet us. I've got to write that down someplace.
Yeah, somebody will
tweet us. You can. We are at hashtag, am I right? At It's All About Arts. I'm going to let Julia explain it to you. There it is right there.
There you go.
It's All About Arts. So if you want to drop us a line. I must be a dinosaur. I'm the dinosaur in this room.
It's actually, I find it complicated as well.
Yeah.
It's like for 5-year-olds. I don't know.
You know something, you're right. My grandkids will explain it to me when I see them next.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
How was your weekend?
Good. I feel very well rested.
Good.
Yeah. Lots of relaxing.
Me too. It was an odd week last week because we had that off day in the middle. You know, we had Wednesday off, and then we had, Monday off, of course, for celebrating the great Martin Luther King. And but it was fabulous time to get a lot of things done around. I got some painting in. I actually started a couple of projects.
Nice.
And we're in the studio, kind of full-fledged, working in there, doing things. So.
Nice.
Did you watch the Grammys? Or did you watch the Pro Bowl?
I didn't watch either. But I did read some news today about who won and who got, dissed and all of that.
Yeah, there was lots of dissing going on. It's the one awards show that I actually enjoy watching straight through all the way.
For the performances?
For the performances, not for the costumes.
I like the costumes.
But I thought, you might. But for the performances, and it's because they're live. They have to perform live at the Grammys, and that's always a kind of a treat. And there was stipulation and wonder whether or not Paul McCartney and Ringo would share the stage, and they did for the first time since the 60s.
Yeah, I heard they're coming out with a new kind of special, and they're
going
to have a bunch of guests. And
what they're going to do is, and the Grammys are running this, is on February 9th, which is the anniversary of the day that they first played on Ed Sullivan, at 8 o'clock. They're going to show the beginning of that show with the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And then there's going to be this 2-hour retrospective of the Beatles.
That's cool.
It is very, very cool. So that was my highlight last night watching the Grammys. I don't get as excited as I used to years ago, but I think that it's a lot of fun to watch. Yeah,
the music has changed a lot. I mean,
it has changed.
It's very produced, so even when you hear somebody singing live, it sounds off because when you hear it on the radio, it's completely different.
Well, on the radio, any kind of process in the studio production of music, which Lou's going to be able to explain to us later, I'm sure, is there's all of this processing done, and you sing it 10 times, and you play it over, and you cut. Now you cut and paste.
Yeah.
You go in and say, well, the first time you did it was great, and the second take was great, but the middle 8 wasn't as good, and so we're going to, they cut that out and put it in. It's very produced, but they have to play it live there.
Yeah, they do. Otherwise, people will think they can't do it.
Well, you can't. That's right.
Some of them I question, but a lot of them are pretty good.
It was very entertaining, though.
I did tune in at one brief moment when Carole King was
playing the
piano, which I thought she sounded great. She faded a little at the end, but
she's no kid.
Yeah, but she was great.
I thought that the thing that I enjoyed, one of the things I enjoyed the most about it was that they're really involving the public and stuff. Some months, half a year ago, they put out a call through Reverb Nation or through some of those other gig places where musicians go to get gigs and asked for submissions of people playing these particular songs. And when they introduced the songs in the categories that they were going to be played, they had these people playing them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was going on.
It was really remarkable.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I might start working on But you don't know what the song is going to be until the nominations come out. So there's
Yeah.
that whole, they pick submissions. And
I wonder if they knew if their song was going to be playing.
well, they had to produce the song since the nominations came out.
Right.
But they already knew the musicians that were going to do it.
Oh, okay.
So-
And those musicians were notified?
Yes,
Yeah.
beforehand.
Okay.
Then he said,
That's very cool.
Yeah, it is, because it kind of gives you an opportunity to showcase some of our undiscovered talent
Yeah.
around there. You know?
And everything's interactive these days, which
It's
is
very easy to do,
Yeah,
very
which
simple.
is kind of crazy. Like we're getting interactive.
Yes, we are, with our Twitter account. And pick me, just give me a shove when I start to wander off. What about you? What's going on?
Not much. I went to New York for
Did you?
the long weekend.
Cool.
Helped my sister move apartments. Got to put together some IKEA furniture, which is always a pleasure.
Did
I
you
love
follow
it.
the directions? Did you have any pieces left over when you
No.
were done? Oh, you really?
No, I'm really good at it, and I love it, and it's like really therapeutic.
Yeah.
It's like you're doing something with your hands. You're building. It's
That's cool.
yeah. But other than that, I'm looking for a new craft hobby. If you have any suggestions.
Apparently, putting furniture together seems, seems to be something that you'd enjoy.
That would mean I would have to buy the IKEA furniture.
Have you ever worked with clay or that kind of,
Yeah,
these-
maybe when I was, 4.
Yeah. It's not a lost skill, It's not something you lose. I enjoy doing that because it's so manual, and, you really get your hands involved in it.
Yeah.
You Forge Gallery over in Jamaica Plain, in your neighborhood, they do all kinds of this, and they do the, all that kind of stuff. But they also have several levels that they do. You should look them up.
They have classes?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, they do. And it's just, I like it because you get dirty and it's, you get involved in your hands. It's not so much drawing or manipulating this or that, but you actually have to put your knuckles in. It's
And you're
kind of
probably
fun.
making things that you can actually use. It's
Well, there's that.
functional art,
There's
which
that.
I like.
Yes, you do, which is you can make a cup.
Yeah.
Cup and saucer for yourself. You know what we did do? We did with the fabulous Rebecca and her boyfriend John and Janice and I. We went to Foxwoods. Have you ever been to Foxwoods?
Oh, right. You told me you were going to do that. I have never been. It kind of scares me a little bit, but I heard Janice likes it.
She does. She likes, there's one slot machine she likes.
Just one.
That's
in
it.
the
She
corner.
wants to go and do that.
Okay.
But it's interesting because I'm not a. I went and watched some horses and some dogs and stuff, and then I wanted to listen to music, and but I played a couple of slot machines. And they kept giving me these pieces of paper. I didn't know.
Did
I
you
was
win
winning.
anything? You
Yes,
won?
I was winning. I gave it all back.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. So I called Becky and said, "What do I do with all these vouchers?" She says, "Don't move. Put them back in your pocket." But it was fun. It was a great experience.
Yeah, they sometimes have good concerts at Foxwoods.
Yeah, they have the main rooms. They have an MGM room that has, I guess Jerry Seinfeld's coming. Little Feat's going to be there. I mean, there's like some really major bands that are coming.
Yeah.
Janice and I, next couple of weeks, are going over to Riles to see a band that does Steely Dan.
Cool.
They do all Steely Dan music, and they are like the band to do it. Scratch
Nice.
It, I think is the name. Yeah. And we're going to go and have dinner there.
Nice.
Go on a date. It'll be
Ooh,
fun.
fun.
Yeah, it'll be great. Well, I think, we've got a jam-packed show.
We do.
We've got a great show tonight. We're
Yes,
going
I'm
to be
excited.
doing some interesting kind of music,
Yeah,
which I think we're going to.
I'm into it.
And an old friend has come back to join us with some paintings that are become very, very exciting and very, very. There's a great one sitting in my room. I was lucky to get, which I'm very, very excited about. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a break. There's we're very. I lost a great friend, an old friend this weekend, Joe Trevisani. Saturday he had passed, and he's the. For you musicians out there, that first band you play in, that first big band that kind of gets some notoriety, Joe brought me into that band. He's Rosendale's son. He's been a great friend of mine and mentor for many, many years. But he passed away this weekend, and we're all going to miss him very, very much. But What we're going to do is I'm going to play the first cut off of Joe's latest CD, his last CD. And we're going to get set up and ready for Julia's World. So when we come out of that, we'll come back to me and I'll tell you a couple of things that I usually tell you, but I'll tell you then. But I want to take this moment to say thank you to Joe and by playing some of his music for you. So listen, gang, hang in there. We'll come into you live from our beautiful Studio B here at BNN-TV. This is a song written and recorded by a good friend, Joe Trevisani. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Please do not go away. Thank you.
Here we go up with the sunrise, leaving in the morning as the day moves on. Miles keep rolling to the hum of the tires. I'm listening for the heart of a song, and oh, I'm feeling mighty fine. And it's nice to have you, darling, by my side one more time now. And we're heading for those northern nights where starlight never ends. Just you and me going back to the river bend. Windswept sky, sea and sunshine form these shores we walk along. Salt spray blowing from that big blue ocean. Pine trees whisper in the breeze with their song, and oh, I'm feeling mighty fine. Sure is nice to have you, darling, by my side one more time now. So let's watch that full moon rising like an old returning friend, with you and me heading back to the river bend. 100 years ago, this river was alive with wooden ships and men who sailed the sea. And though modern progress takes its toll, its spirit will survive. For these waters, they still flow on endlessly. 'Safe in the harbor, ship's bell rings, while the schooner dances to a down east jar. Deep in this cove lies the ancient rhyme of seafaring ways in the mariner's song. And oh, I'm feeling mighty fine. Yes, it's nice to have you, darling, by my side one more time now. And as daylight bows to sunset, our journey soon must end, with you and me going back to the river bend.
Beautiful. That's a great cut by Joe Trevisani, old friend, old Rosendale pal from back in the 70s, and played with Ma, Pa, Joe and Friends, brought me into that band, and it was like, you know, your first big band to be in, so it was a lot of fun. Welcome back. You are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and I'm your host. couple of things I want to get by us before we get too late into the show. We are really, really fortunate to have as our friend and supporter here at BNN-TV, the Boston Main Streets program. Boston Main Streets is a volunteer-driven organization that helps revitalize the business districts around the city of Boston. There's about 19 of them. And what they do is they work with the property owner to make sure that that storefront gets the right kind of business in it. And once the business is in there, they work with the business owner to make sure that it looks right, and that the signs are all straight, everything's cool. And then they have a promotions committee which puts on events like your farmers markets, the Taste of Rosendale, things like that, to bring people into the business district to show it off. So we want to thank them very much for their support. We really have been lucky to have them as our friends here at BNN. The other thing I want to talk about is this great building that we're in, BNN-TV. BNN-TV is the cable access unit for here in the city of Boston. We've been doing it for 30 years now, and we're just starting to get it right. I mean, it's been a long journey, and everybody is so proud of what goes on here, and you should be part of it as well. What you can do is you can go to www.bnntv.org and click on Janice Williams' name. She is the manager of all of the membership and all of the different things that go on here in the building. And tell her that you heard here that you want to be a producer here. The half you're looking at now, there's 2 stations. Channel 9 is your news and information station where nonprofits get an opportunity to come in and talk about their mission statement. They'll come in and tell the world about what's going on with them. The other side, you become a member and you take some classes in Final Cut Pro and audio and lighting and how to use these state-of-the-art cameras and put on your own program, and lo and behold, we put it on the air. And one of the great things we do now is we stream live. So I know that I'm saying hello to some people in Seattle, Washington right now. I know I'm saying hi to people in Portland, Oregon. Hi, guys. I know that down in New Jersey, I have friends that are watching, upper state New York. So it's like, this is where you get us streaming live. So if you go to www.bnntv.org and click on what's playing now, that's how you get to it. The other thing that you can do is you go to YouTube tomorrow afternoon, and this show right here will be on demand there at YouTube. The address for that YouTube is It's All About Arts, the #1 on the YouTube station. Please go there, subscribe, and you get all the information and all the cool things that we do here. Speaking of cool things that we do here, it's now time for our feature. We are very, very proud of the great things that are going on in Julia's world. And we're about to unleash that on you right now. So listen, gang, sit back and relax. And let me turn this over to Julia's world.
Thanks, Glenn. Welcome to Julia's world. I'm going to get right into it since we have some great guests tonight. The first thing I want to mention is the Debo Band, which is an awesome sub-pop local Boston band influenced by traditional Ethiopian sounds. They are doing a 4-week residency at the Lizard Lounge in Cambridge. So they're going to be playing their second show this Thursday at 8:30. I'm going to be there, so go check it out. Second, in Arlington, if you're out in Arlington, there's the old Schwam Mill, which I've never been to, but sounds awesome. The artist David Moore is having an exhibit. He's a painter and musician. His exhibit Compositions will be up through March 15th. His exhibit is called Continuum. And February 1st, he's going to be talking at the Mill from 1 to 3 p.m., and then he's going to be playing the musical Saw, which sounds pretty awesome. Lastly, I'm going to try every week to put a spotlight on an artist in the Boston area who is focusing on the environment and using art to bring awareness to various environmental issues that are happening, here in Boston and all around the world. So the first, at the Tufts University Art Gallery in Medford, there's an upcoming exhibition called Seeing Glacial Time, Climate Change in the Arctic. And that starts January 30th and goes through May 18th, so that'll be up for a while. But make sure you go check it out. There's some really beautiful images up online already of some really fantastic images of the Arctic. Pretty crazy. Anyway, that's all I have for you this week. next some awesome guests. So back to you, Glenn.
Thank you, Julia. That was fantastic. Thank you so much for being here today and being part of our show. Julia does, oh, there she goes walking in front. Who was that walked in front of that camera? That's okay. We'll get it. Not to worry. Listen, gang, thank you ever so much for being here with us tonight. And right now, it is my great pleasure and honor to introduce old friend, someone who was with us many, many years ago, and Bren Bataclan, right?
Yes.
Bren, how
Thank
are
you
you,
for
buddy?
having me
It's good
back.
to have you
It's
back.
so good to be
How's
back,
everything?
too. Things are great.
Good, good.
So I'm giving an all-week presentation at the Proctor School in Northborough this week.
Very
That's why I'm wearing a
nice.
tie, because I usually am paint covered. So this is rare. And then after that, I will paint a mural, so I'll look like...
Talk to me about I want to hold this one up because it's something that everybody's going to recognize right away.
the most popular guy.
He is. He's fabulous. And this was a series of paintings that you were doing. How does that go? How is this going?
It's going really well. It's my 11th year now, so it's my 11th year of being a full-time artist.
What's this guy's name?
I don't name them, and the folks who acquire them can name them themselves.
Now tell me how they acquire them. This is I think this is interesting.
Okay, so for the past 10 years, I've been giving away paintings for people to
People
take
just
for
find
free.
them.
People just find them, and I've given away over 1,500 paintings.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, and so last summer was a big deal because I made it a point to give away paintings in all 50 states, including DC. And so I had a really successful Kickstarter fundraising where I reached 300% of my goal.
Wow.
Which enabled me to drive to 20 states, including DC, and my car outside racked up 10,000 miles. So it was crazy. The whole summer, that's why there was a lot of work.
Now, are you painting these as you're driving down the
No,
interstate?
I'm not that insane. No.
There's another one.
Yeah, no,
Another-
I
no?
painted them at a barn in Maine.
Okay.
And I had about 315 paintings in my trunk, and I just drove.
What's the inspiration here? Is it just a cute
Which
face?
one? No. I was born in the Philippines, and growing up there, I watched a lot of anime. So it's
okay,
anime.
okay.
That's why they have big eyes.
Now, do you think the characters, are they going to end up on an anime program at some point?
I hope so, because my background's in computer animation. I moved here after grad school to teach that at UMass Amherst, but I'm now just painting.
Really? That's great. That's a fabulous story. I love the idea that you traveled all over the country and got these paintings, left them on benches?
No, mostly on park benches.
Park benches, and people walk up and go, hey.
That's mine. Actually, my last stop was in Moore, Oklahoma, where that big, devastating, I was going to say typhoon, but that just happened in the Philippines.
Yes,
So
the hurricane, tornadoes and stuff.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so someone whose house was flattened found one of my paintings, and that was my last stop, and it made it really, really
that puts a lot of meaning to it.
Yeah.
Do people when they come across it, are you finding that people are going, I recognize what this is?
Here in Massachusetts, but not outside of Massachusetts.
Not in Oklahoma?
No, not in Oklahoma.
So how are they looking at it and go, I want that, but I'm afraid to take it? Or is it kind of an invitation to take me?
I say this in all my presentations, but as an example, if I leave them on college campuses, students have no qualms to taking things for free, so they just take them. But then adults are a little bit more cynical. They'll think it's some kind of product placement or it's on candy camera. But it's a hilarious study of people because people would dance around it. Then some folks would only half commit and kind of guard it, so no one else would take them. So,
that's interesting.
yeah, it's funny. But a nun in West Virginia saw a number of them, and I think she took half of them. She took them more than one. So,
what does that tell us?
No, but then no, I know because she will view my Facebook. She did give some of them to other priests.
Yeah.
But she said,
she spread the wealth.
She
so
did
they're not
spread the
all
wealth.
in her bedroom, right?
No.
Okay. What is your Facebook page so people can go and do you have a regular website? Of course you do. What's the regular website?
It is my last name. It's Bataclan.com. B as in boy, ATACLAN.com. When they go there, you can click on the Facebook.
Okay, we've got some images to look at. Let's go through those. They'll be on the screen here. You can tell me what you're.
Oh, that's my new piece. So those are all animals, obviously, because most of my characters are not really anything. but this is more literal. The top left, that's a tarsier monkey, and they're the world's smallest primate. And
Yeah.
you can find them in the Philippines. So they have giant eyes, and they're really cute. They're endangered,
Oh.
and they make horrible pets, so don't take them. They're asleep during the day, and they're crazy at night.
Okay.
That's
Here
sort
we
of
are.
like my trademark set of characters. So these are the ones I've been drawing since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So if
You
you
can walk
compare
over.
them to the first one, these are not anything. It's up to you to
Yeah,
decide.
yeah.
Unlike the first one, there's obviously safari creatures.
Very cool.
Yeah. An octopus with a mustache. Mustaches
And
are
a
big.
red bow tie.
Yeah, and a red bow tie. It's my Downton Abbey octopus. Turtle. My favorite number is 15, so I'm a bit obsessed. So like that is 15 spots because it's my birthday next month.
Oh, happy
February
birthday.
15th,
Oh,
yeah.
very good. Day
Little
after
narcissistic.
Valentine's
Yep.
Day. Okay.
Penguin. Talk about Downton Abbey. That's penguin, yeah.
Very cool.
Panda.
Yeah.
I usually don't do backgrounds because I just like to have the least amount of details but max amount of personality, but
Yeah.
those are bamboos.
Very cool.
Cat. I love cats.
I do too. I have one
I
at home.
absolutely love cats, so that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But it's blue.
I don't have a blue
No,
cat.
I don't think anyone does.
Oh, whoever has that painting does.
So I paint lots of murals, and I painted over
you said you
70
had one
murals
coming
at
up, yeah.
school. So I have 3 or 4 coming up. That's at the school in Newton. So all of my murals are based on kids' drawing. So I show them how to do my, like how to draw my characters, and then they draw for me. So this is all what the 3rd graders were studying that year. So from photosynthesis, planets, pilgrims.
Very cool.
Oh, that's my successful Kickstarter campaign.
Yes.
So I've reached, I still can't believe so thank you everyone who donated. That's at the school in Wayland, and it's all kindergartners' work. So there are over 200 drawings of kindergartners' work. That's an unusual piece. It's for a school in Westminster, and I use my iPhone's panoramic mode, but
Yeah.
that is on a circular ceiling. So it's actually a wraparound, and the theme is kind of like aim high, and so it's
Yeah.
all these floating images and inspirational words. That's a fairly recent one. It's a school in Foxborough, the Taylor School.
They let you do the doors?
Yeah, those stores took
awesome.
forever to paint because they were unfinished, just wooden. That yellow I painted about 15 times because it just soaked up.
Would you
the-
have to worry about kids running in and out of the doors?
No, these are
Was
closets.
it an active
These
school?
are closets. Yeah,
Oh,
it's an
okay.
active school. Yeah. So this is my painting process. So I've just been showing step by step. So I
Very cool.
first, draw in pencil, then paint. And I paint beyond Massachusetts. It's for a school in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think we're almost done. Let's see. That's at the school in Westminster again. They hired me twice. So most of my murals are about 20 feet long.
Okay, very, very cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a mural coming up you said you're going to be working
so
on?
I'm
Where?
painting one starting next week at the school I'm presenting to this week in Northborough, the Proctor School. Then after that, I am painting at a school in Franklin at the Jefferson School. Then after that, at the school in Acton at the Conant School.
I'm so happy that things have kicked off for you like they have. I know it's been a while since we've been, but you've obviously been very, very busy.
Yeah, it's
Bren, thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
in.
me.
It's always a pleasure. Let's not be such a stranger.
All right.
Let's
Thanks.
come back whenever
okay.
whenever you're passing by.
All right, I'll be back.
Just make a
Thank
call. Listen, gang, thank you very much for being here. Listen, we are only halfway through our show. We've got another amazing guest coming up. If you'll sit back and relax, you know what we're going to do is we're going to tease you with him because we're going to be listening to a piece by him. And I'm over here. Sorry, gang. You got to wave. We'll be listening to a piece by him, and then he'll be joining me here on the desk. And listen, gang, you are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. We are coming to you live. If you'd like to join us, you can give us a call, 617-708-3290. And like I said, you can tweet us at It's All About Arts or check us out at YouTube at It's All About Arts 1 is the station there. Listen, gang, we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Do not go away. Sit back and relax. We'll be right back. Thank you. Well, thank you for hanging in there with us, gang. You are watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. My name is Glenn Williams, and right now it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Lou Bunk. Hello, Lou. How are you?
It's nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
That piece we were just listening to is off of a CD that you've worked on. Tell me a little bit about what I was just listening to. I mean, I have my interpretation. But,
Sure. It's a piece for string quartet that I wrote when I was in graduate school.
Okay.
So this would have been about, probably like 12, 13 years ago. And it was recorded by the Lydian String Quartet, which is a string quartet that's in residence at Brandeis, where I went to school. And it's a composition that it's about 6 minutes long, and it's made up of 5 short movements. And each one is, I think there's one that's maybe about 30 seconds long, and there's one about a minute and a half. And each one is sort of a character. It features a different mood, a different.
Each movement does, or each string?
Each movement.
Each movement does.
Movement. Yeah, in a lot of ways, the strings are kind of working together
Okay.
To create a larger sonic whole.
Right, because I'm listening to it and I actually hear conversation going on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know if the characterization is correct, but I hear that response in, you know, that recall and response thing happening there. I'm not sure if that's the direction of what you were writing. You're the composer.
I am the composer.
You are the composer of that.
Yeah.
What's your inspiration for the music?
Well, for that one, I think the inspiration was the instruments themselves.
Okay. What instruments were involved here?
So in a string quartet, you have 2 violins, you have a viola, and a cello, all stringed instruments. Yeah. And so I was interested in the kind of the sonic potential of each instrument, extending the technique beyond the instruments to different sounds and timbres that are possible. I mean, you hear pitch and harmony and melody in these pieces, but they are as important as the timbral possibilities, like the sounds that they could make. If you, we didn't get to it, but if you go later into the composition, I use a technique called a scratch tone, which is where you, where the violinist bears down harder than normal on the string, and it creates a kind of kind of sound. And there's all kinds. I think there's an infinite amount of possibilities with these types of sounds. And so, so that was kind of my inspiration is the sounds themselves.
Right. Well, anybody with a talented bow can draw more sounds out of a stringed instrument than people realize. You know? Is there what is your #1 instrument?
My well, I studied classical guitar when I was in undergrad. I also started out playing electric guitar. I played in rock bands for a long time. Actually, I played in one up until about a year and a half ago. I'm sort of in between right now, focusing on different things. So those are my instruments. I also, the computer is an important musical instrument for me as well too. I do a lot of work with electronic music.
So you do a lot of, is there a lot of looping involved and sampling? And
sometimes I do more sampling than looping, I would say. The music that I'm interested in has sort of irregular shapes to it, so looping doesn't really, unless you have these sort of like wobbling kind of loops that create sort of asymmetrical shapes.
If you had to categorize your music.
Category, well.
I mean, let's say you're going to open up one of these Reverb Nation things and there's a drop-down menu.
And there's a drop-down menu, all right.
Of type of music. It's a horrible question.
Yeah, no, it's a fair question though. It would be under avant-garde classical, I would say, because I studied classical composition in graduate school, and it's definitely way on the sort of avant-garde, sort of experimental side.
Right. So has music always been the gig?
Yeah. I mean, I was a student forever. I was a student until I was in my mid-30s. And now I teach.
That's great.
So it's always been music in one way or another.
Did you see they gave out that award last night to the teacher?
Yeah.
That was just so fabulous. And then they ran down the list of things that the guy did. It was just so fabulous. I mean, people's dedication out there to music was so happy for people like you.
It's really important work. It's not just sort of teaching music, but sort of teaching people that music and the arts are an important part of our life. It's not just about going out and our jobs are important and our vocations are important, but the arts are sort of what makes our life.
I always find that it's it's really the only way where you can fill a room full of people from several different demographics, languages,
Oh, yeah.
parts of the world,
Yeah.
play a piece and get a reaction, a uniformed reaction from them.
Yeah.
It's the international language.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree, but I think that there, in my experience too, sometimes I'll play music for people and they'll be like, "Do you hate music? What are you doing to this
Why are
music
you
that I
doing
love?
this?
Why are you destroying this music that I love?"
Oh.
And
Music lovers, huh?
yeah. People have their own little camps, you know.
Well, I think that's important. That you know what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I hear that when we were listening to Joe Trevisani a little while ago.
Yeah.
It's in completely different
Oh, yeah.
direction.
Yeah,
you know.
it's another world, and
Yeah.
it's almost like could both of them be music, right?
Oh, of
Like,
course they can.
yeah.
You and I believe so. But
yeah.
you know, there are people out there that will look and say, well, I don't get the melody, I don't get it. Well, it's like looking at any kind of a painting. Sometimes an impressionist painting, someone looks at it or they don't understand what they're looking at, so they automatically don't like it because they don't understand it.
Yeah, there's that. There's
You know,
that.
and
Absolutely.
I think that there's a big deal there. When you're recording, now are you using Final Cut Pro or are you using
when I do-
Digital Performer or what do you
Pro
on?
Tools.
Pro Tools.
I work with Pro Tools a lot. I teach Pro Tools. I do some electronic music, like cut and paste type,
Yeah, I meant
type
to
work.
say Pro Tools, not
Yeah.
Final Cut Pro is
Final
film.
Cut Pro is video, yeah. So Pro Tools is an important piece of software for me.
Is it the industry standard these days?
As far as I can tell,
Yeah.
I'm not in every studio in every part of the world, but
We use Digital Performer.
Digital Performer, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
because the Digital Performer is more connected with video.
Yeah, and well, it's also Mac-based too.
It's Mac-based, yeah.
So we have the Mac towers that we
Yeah.
use. We've been using it since 2.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's that's the kind we use. When you record it, the reason I'm asking about the tool that you use, is it recorded live? Are the
that piece-
musicians
that-
live in the room?
Sometimes. That was a live recording. It was what you call a reading. It wasn't a live performance, but it was a sort of closed reading session. And the quartet came in and played the piece from beginning to end. But in other situations, you'll go into the studio, and I recently was working on a solo bass clarinet recording of mine, and you record maybe like 15, 20, 30 seconds as far as the musician feels comfortable to go, and then you stop, and then you do the next section, and then the next section, and the next section, and then maybe you do multiple takes of each section, and then maybe you go back, and then in the end you have all these clips, and with all these clips the musician goes away because their work is done, and then either the producer or me or the two of us together will get together and make them line up and make like the perfect, beautiful
Cutting and
performance.
pasting hasn't always been a line that's used in recording studios, but
Yeah.
that is some of the things we.
That's how I think about it.
What we did, we had a piece that we wanted this trumpet piece in. So all we did was loop the middle 8 and let him play for
over.
15 minutes.
Sure.
And then we said, thank you, here's your check, see you later.
Yeah.
And then we went and took it apart and put
Yeah.
it the way we wanted it.
Yeah.
Invited him back and he went, who did that?
Yeah.
What have you done to me?
That's a different situation because he was improvising, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And
Total
so,
we didn't give him anything beforehand. We wanted him just to jam.
yeah. And so with the string quartet, every single note, every single
no, I'm
rhythm
sure.
is precisely notated in like this bass clarinet. Everything is what we're doing is a little different, or what I was doing, because you're creating almost like this perfect performance of it that only exists in this sort of abstract recording. And but the illusion is that you're trying to create is that it's like this very organic, natural sounding, even though the process is very unorganic.
My very first instrument was a string bass.
Yeah.
I still play, not as often as I should. I got my jazz bass now, but it's a beautiful instrument.
Yeah.
And I loved it. The thing I loved about it is that there was all of these different segments of that instrument. I mean, I never became first chair, but it was, it was always a great thing to be able to play. And then just below us were the cellos, the human range.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then violas. People don't realize that all of these stringed instruments build these one string section.
Yeah.
Do you write in parts, or you just do quartets, or will you write a symphony?
I've written for full orchestra.
Yeah.
I've written for single instruments. I've written all different kinds of combinations.
How's it going?
It's good. I love it. I love writing for for all kinds of combinations. Of
Where do
instruments.
people go to get your work?
Well, you can hear a lot of my recordings on my website.
Yeah.
Just my name, Lou Bunk, or loubunk.com. If you just Google, my name's sort of unique, so if you just put it into Google, I come up.
They come up, right?
Yeah.
You've brought with you a very classical-looking instrument.
Yeah.
Something that's been, probably tweaked and
Hundreds of years.
hundreds of years have gone into this.
It's the highest tech musical instrument you've probably ever seen.
I'm very excited about it
all right.
too.
Well,
Could you
so
share it
this
with
is
us?
a little something different that I do. I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but this is an instrument that I've invented that I call a scratch-o-lin. Remember the scratch tones I was telling you about
Yeah.
in the string quartet before, and all the different possibilities. I became very interested in these kinds of sounds, and I wanted to be able to create them myself. I'm not a violinist, but the bow, this is a violin bow, and the bow is a huge part of the artistry of any string player, and so I wanted to be able to create some of those sort of noisy sounds on my own. Another part of what I do is free improvisation, and I do a lot of that around town. I run a concert series in Somerville called Open Sound.
Oh.
And it's a once-a-month concert series that features a lot of avant-garde improvisation, avant-garde classical, free jazz. You said you play jazz.
Yeah.
And so I got involved in this scene. I sort of stumbled upon some of these folks when I first got here, and I was just, I want to sort of be involved with that.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of tinkering around. So
Do you use regular rosin from Rayburn's for that?
Yeah,
To
check this
save
out.
The regular deal?
Yeah, check this out. It's just regular old. I use
rosin.
cello rosin because
Okay.
it's a little stickier, and you got to get it ready to go here.
Squeak it up?
Yeah. And do you want me to do a
Please,
little
I
something?
absolutely do.
All right, I'll do a little 1 minute something here. Let me just take my glasses off. It helps me concentrate. All right, so here we go. I want to watch out for the microphone here. Do a little something. Thank you.
That's very, very cool. That's clever.
Thank you. Thank you.
How many of these instruments are available at Wurlitz's these days?
Well, this is one of a
It's a one
kind.
of a kind.
As you can see, it's something I built, a homemade instrument, and
pretty cool.
it's made out of a hard drive box with a spine of styrofoam. I didn't get to the special styrofoam part of the performance yet, and I also have a couple of elastic bands here, which sort of hold the thing together. I got some duct tape too, but the elastic bands, you get a little.
Oh, yeah.
If I want to
Yeah.
throw a couple pitches in there.
Are you
and-
performing anywhere?
I just performed last weekend on Open Sound with a quartet. Next week, I'll have a composition of mine performed.
Do you play guitar when you perform?
No, I play this. Okay. Yeah, I play this, and I have a giant piece of styrofoam that I call a styrofoamophone. And it's about this high. It's got some elastic bands on it, pieces of metal sticking out, and I'll amplify it either with a microphone or a contact mic so that you can hear like all those tiny little sounds. I'm not sure if the people out in TV land heard every little sound, but
I'm sure they turned up a little bit.
they turned it up. You got to hear every bit. But I use a microphone so that it's sort of like looking at something through a microscope. Like there's this whole world in there that I want to explore. So it's not just about just cranking and getting these really loud sounds,
Well, Lou, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah,
This is great. Don't be a stranger.
thank you.
I appreciate it really very, very much. Fascinating.
Thank you.
Fascinating.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Listen, gang, we'll be back in just 1 minute. We're going to take one really, really fast, quick break. Get Julia back up here, and we'll be back in just 1 minute. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
I see you standing over there, just the other afternoon, hidden by shadows, waiting for a man, hidden from the sun, for a man that never comes, like a race that's never run. As the road widens, and it almost always will, you look upon this day, the outlook will broaden as you find it wasn't you, growing from a place with a bright and happy face.
And we're back from a Glenn in the 80s to a Glenn today. How are you? Thank you for coming back. Hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Good.
That was great.
That was awesome.
That was very interesting. I loved the piece we played as he was before we talked, but I love it when people take the initiative to create sound. I mean,
Yeah.
It's so easy today to get a CD of sounds you like, take them, compress them, do whatever you want to do to them and change them around. But to actually create something that's going to create the sound you're looking for,
Yeah.
that's great.
I studied visual art, and I was always fascinated by these, classically trained artists who, later in their career just kind of broke art down to
Yeah.
like the basics, but it became this complex, like conceptual matter. And that's what I feel like kind of what he's doing almost in a way.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
great.
interesting to me when
And what do you think
artists
about
do that.
if you were walking through the public gardens and saw one of those paintings sitting on the bench? How would you react to that? Would you tuck it under your arm and run for Park Street under?
I would probably take it.
Here he is! There he is! Bob Ross! We were talking about that. That's great.
Okay, next show.
Thank you, Davey.
Next show,
David jumps in.
we'll do a paint by
This
numbers
is how,
next
you know
show.
something, that's how a lot of people learned how to.
I used to
paint.
watch that. That
Yeah.
was mesmerizing. I mean, yeah, kind of annoying, but also it's like, it's like making those trees.
Yeah. What's up for the week? Any plans? Are you going to make it over to that show you said you're going to
Yeah,
go to?
Thursday. I'm going to
Thursday?
go over there, and then I don't know. I'm going to go check out at the MFA. There's an exhibit of some Brazilian art. So I'm
That's
going to
great.
go check that
You're
out.
big on that.
I am big on that.
Big on the Brazilian stuff. Well, listen, thank you very much.
Yeah,
this was a
thanks.
lot of fun. I'm back
This
in
was a great
in the
show.
studio on Wednesday night. We're I think I like about this. It's all about me.
Yeah, it is.
It's just so cool.
It's always back to you.
It goes right back to me. No, I'm only kidding. Don't tell the other guys I said that. But thank you for being here. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us tonight. This was an awful lot of fun. I want to remind everybody again that we are, this show will be on our own on-demand station on YouTube. And the YouTube address is It's All About Arts. The number 1 is how you'll find us on YouTube. And we have a Twitter account where you can tweet us your questions. I know that Julia wants some feedback and some
I do.
people
I'm
to
checking it.
Yes.
Tweet us.
tweet us and let us know what you think about what we're doing here. Please let us know what's going on artfully in your community as well, please. And come visit us here at BNN-TV. You know what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing a couple of my students in every now and then that are film students of mine, you know, middle school kids that are learning how to do television production. I'm going to bring them in, stand them in the corner, and let them see how the real guys do it. You know, how the real cats make TV.
Yeah.
And it could be a lot of fun to do that. That's one of the things we're planning in the future. I think that's about it. We're about out of time. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, that's
No
it.
shout-outs or how-dos?
Nope.
UForge.
UForge Gallery.
Yes, they just became friends of us on Twitter. So.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to UForge.
yes, shout out to UForge. They'll
JP.
They can they'll help you out as far as getting some new
Yeah,
things
yeah,
for you to
yeah.
do. And the thing that's cool is you can make them small enough so you can incorporate them into your collages and stuff.
Oh, that would be
So
cool.
there'd be little
mini
sculptures.
mini teacups.
Yes. Mini pinch cups. It'll be a lot of fun. Listen, gang, thanks an awful lot for being here with us. You've been watching BNN-TV's It's All About Arts. Get out there and do something artful for yourself this week, please. A big thank you to our guests. Thank you very much for being here tonight. And like we like to say every week, please keep in the forefront of your minds our mothers, fathers, sons and daughters, aunts and uncles, nieces and nephews on foreign soil. Please get out there, do something artful, do it for them. We'll see you next week. You coming back next week?
Yeah.
It'll be great. Okay, gang. See you later. Bye-bye.